In following true crime, we read and hear about a lot of horrible stories and cases which can show the worst of humanity, and it can be very shocking. But occasionally, a case will come up which is so utterly horrible and depraved that it leaves you thinking, what the bloody hell is wrong with people? And we'll be looking at such a case today, going over what happened to Rebecca Park, a 22-year-old pregnant woman who was murdered in November of 2025 and her unborn baby stolen from her. Before we take a look at the case, I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you, as I now have subscribers on this channel, which is fabulous. So I just want to thank those of you who have subscribed and left likes on my videos. It really means a lot to me. And I'd like to encourage anyone who watches my videos and finds them interesting to leave a like and a comment and to subscribe so that you don't miss out on future videos. Rebecca Park was a 22-year-old woman from Wexford County in Michigan who was reported missing on the 4th of November 2025 by her sister Kimberly Park. Her body was found a few weeks later on the 25th of November 2025 in a national forest, and it was clear that she had been murdered. Now, this case is still very much ongoing. Arrests have been made with 2 people having been charged, but there is not yet a trial date, and those involved are presumed innocent until proven guilty. That being said, probable cause affidavits have been released, which give a very good idea of what happened. This case is quite complicated to follow in terms of who is who and the relationships they have with each other, so we'll go through that quickly and then get into what is written in the affidavits. So we have Rebecca Park, the victim in this case. Kimberly Park is her younger sister, and their biological mother is Courtney Bartholomew. I specify biological mother as both Rebecca and Kimberly were adopted along with an older brother when Rebecca was just 1 year old. They were raised by their adoptive mother, a woman named Stephanie Park, who says that Rebecca and her siblings had no contact with their biological family as they were growing up. Courtney is married to Bradley Bartholomew, a convicted sex offender, and Rebecca was engaged to a man named Richard Fowler, but Richard Fowler had had sexual relationships with both Courtney and Kimberly, as well as being engaged to Rebecca. It's all a bit of a mess that we will get into, but Rebecca, Kimberly, Courtney, Bradley and Richard are the main people that we need to be concerned with in this case. Stephanie told a local newspaper, the Detroit News, that she, quote, hid those kids from her, meaning Courtney, for 18 years, knowing that something like this was a possibility and that this woman, again meaning Courtney, was dangerous. Stephanie came into their lives when Child Protective Services removed the children from Courtney's care. She fostered them until Courtney and the children's father lost their parental rights, when she then adopted them. The when and why is not clear, but at some point Rebecca and Kimberly entered into contact with their biological mother and seemingly set about building a relationship. Fast forward to late 2025, and 22-year-old Rebecca was engaged to 43-year-old Richard Fowler, which is quite the age gap I must say, and was very heavily pregnant at 38 weeks with a new baby. She already had 2 sons who were in the care of her adoptive mother Stephanie, who was also taking care of Kimberly's daughter, and apparently had concerns that this new baby could be taken away by CPS. Now I'm going to get into what is alleged to have happened to Rebecca according to the affidavit. Embrace yourselves, as there is a lot of finger pointing, he said, she said, and changing stories, but I'll do my best to keep this as clear as possible. On the 2nd of November 2025, Rebecca had plans to get milkshakes and some laundry detergent from Courtney, but Rebecca went to the hospital, suspecting that she was in labour. It turned out to be a false alarm, so Rebecca was discharged from the hospital, and Courtney drove Rebecca and Richard home. According to Courtney, Richard was throwing the couple's bags, and Rebecca whispered to Courtney that Richard had been, quote, a real big ass. Rebecca and Courtney remade plans to meet for milkshakes the next day instead, so Courtney picked Rebecca up between 6:30 and 7 p.m. on the 3rd of November and brought her to her house. Rebecca is said to have been complaining about Richard to Courtney as he was going on at her to get money to fix his truck. And it's like, mate, you're twice her age and she's literally about to give birth. Get your own money for your own truck. Courtney says that she gave Rebecca an envelope containing $2,000 and some laundry detergent and offered to take Rebecca home, but Rebecca declined, saying that she had contacted someone who was going to come and pick her up. And shortly after, a car came, which Courtney described as a Chevy, and Rebecca got in it and the car drove off. Courtney said that she didn't hear anything from Rebecca after that and contacted Kimberly at 11 p.m. to get Richard's number and sent him a text at 11:30 to let him know that Rebecca had left in a car with an unknown person. The next day, on the 4th of November, Kimberly reported Rebecca as missing to the police, saying that no one had heard from her or seen her since the previous evening. A missing persons case was opened, with it being especially urgent as Rebecca was only 2 weeks away from her due date, which is reported as the 18th of November. Rebecca's phone was found near Courtney's residence on a two-track road. And for those who don't know, a two-track road is a dirt road that has been made from people driving down it enough to leave 2 tracks of tyres, but it's not actually an official road that has been paved. That might sound obvious to some, but I personally had never heard of that before. The phone had been found by Kimberly pinging it, which brought up GPS coordinates that she gave to Courtney and Bradley, who went and got the phone. Police found that the phone didn't show that Rebecca had reached out to anyone to come and pick her up on the 3rd of November, so Courtney indicated that Rebecca had multiple phones, so she might have been using one of the other phones that she had, and that she had seen Rebecca delete something from a phone, but she didn't know what she deleted or from which phone. On the 5th of November, Kimberly was interviewed by the police after indicating that she might have some information as to what happened to Rebecca. She played them voice messages which she had received from Courtney, where Courtney said that she had received some information that 2 people had come to a centre looking for Narcan, and that they had been heard saying that the pregnant woman that's missing, quote, got what she fucking deserved. In another voice message, Courtney said that there may have been some kind of murder plot involving Rebecca, saying that Courtney had been told that Rebecca may have had something to do with the death of a local man, so perhaps his family were enacting revenge on her. When the police asked Kimberly if she trusted Courtney, she said, not really. The case took its course, with searches being organised to try to find Rebecca. Then, on the 22nd of November, Kimberly went live on social media and publicly accused Courtney and Bradley of having something to do with Rebecca's disappearance. Later that day, she was interviewed by police and told them that Courtney and Bradley had hit Rebecca in the head, causing her to have a seizure and die, and that a friend had come and got rid of the body. On the 24th of November, Courtney and Bradley were interviewed by the police. During his interview, Bradley said that he was trying to protect Kimberly. He alleged that during a dinner on the 1st of November, Kimberly was asking Bradley about the 2-track behind the house, and she told him that she needed to get Rebecca, quote, out of the picture. He said that Kimberly took Rebecca down the 2-track behind the house and told the police, I believe she's dead, implying that Kimberly killed Rebecca. The next day, on the 25th of November, a call came into police from a lady who said that she had found a body in a forest covered in leaves, which, quote, looks gutted. Tragically, it was confirmed to be Rebecca. There was no sign of the baby. After Rebecca was found, Kimberly changed her story and said that Richard had been the one to kill Rebecca. She said that he was trying to cut the baby out of her when something went wrong. She said that Richard wanted her to mislead the police by lying to them, which is why she had said that Courtney and Bradley had been the ones to kill Rebecca. Kimberly told the police that she was having a relationship with Richard, who, just to remind you, is her sister's fiancé. She told the police that her relationship with Richard was complicated by the relationship he had with his sister, which is just such an odd thing to say that it's almost funny. Like, your pregnant sister's fiancé is cheating on her with you, and that's making your relationship with him complicated. I mean, these people, man. But hold on, it does get worse. Kimberly was arrested for lying to police and obstructing the investigation, and Richard was also arrested, but he was arrested on drug charges, which had nothing to do with Rebecca's murder. On the 30th of November, both Courtney and Bradley were interviewed again by police, and the awful truth started to come out. On the 3rd of November, Courtney had gone to get Rebecca to give her laundry detergent. Somehow, Rebecca ended up in a pickup truck with Courtney and Bradley, and the 3 of them drove away. Courtney says that Bradley got Rebecca to get into the truck, and Bradley says that it was Courtney who got her to get in. They drove and ended up 2.5 miles away from Courtney's residence. Bradley said that they drove on the trail through the forest because the truck's license plate was not valid. Bradley went on to say that while driving, Courtney pulled out a hunting knife and began stabbing Rebecca, so Bradley jumped out of the truck, whereas Courtney said that Bradley stopped the truck, got Rebecca to get out of the truck, and then stabbed her in the back. What is definitely known is that Rebecca ended up on the trail behind the truck, where Courtney cut the baby out of her. According to Courtney, she did this to try to save the baby and take it to Richard. Courtney said that she told Rebecca to lie down and that her baby was going to die, as Rebecca was going to die, having been stabbed. Rebecca did so, and Courtney began cutting the baby out of her with a scalpel. She said that Rebecca was conscious throughout her ordeal, telling Courtney to hurry up and asking if the baby was out, and she told Courtney to save the baby. She said that after the baby was out, Bradley cut Rebecca's throat, whereas Bradley said that when they left Rebecca on the trail, he didn't know if she was dead or alive. Both of them denied that this was a planned attack to kill Rebecca and steal her baby, but that doesn't seem to stand up. Because we can get past the presence of a hunting knife in a pickup truck, this is the countryside, perhaps there might be a knife or some kind of sharp object in a pickup truck, but why would there be a scalpel? The scalpel apparently came from Courtney's bedroom, where she keeps a stash of them in a drawer, which she uses to lance her cellulitis. And if anyone suffers from cellulitis, don't do that. Go see a doctor. So they brought a scalpel with them, which was used to cut out the baby. Courtney also brought dental floss to tie off the umbilical cord, and there was also a towel in the truck, which was used to transport the baby back to the house. So why would you bring dental floss to tie off an umbilical cord if you didn't know in advance that that's what you planned to do? The affidavit also states that Courtney and Bradley had been looking up information on C-sections a month prior to the attack on Rebecca. Both Courtney and Bradley say that the baby, which would have been a little boy, was dead when he was cut out of Rebecca. They transported the baby back to the house, where they both tried to do CPR on the baby, but to no avail. Courtney said that Bradley then put the baby in a rubbish bag and into a small cooler, which he had previously used for work, and then disposed of the cooler in a GFL, which is the refuse or rubbish company in the local area. So they put the baby in a rubbish bin, taking care not to use Courtney's rubbish bin. To date, the baby's body has not been found. Courtney and Bradley were arrested and charged with Rebecca's torture, murder, and the murder of her baby, among other charges. So what on earth could have motivated them to do this? According to Courtney, Bradley wanted to get revenge on Rebecca's fiancé Richard. According to the affidavit, Richard, quote, turned on Bradley the previous year as Bradley had SOR violations, which have to do with not correctly registering information on the sex offenders registry. She also said that Bradley wanted revenge on Richard due to the sexual relationship he had previously had with Courtney. Courtney stated that Rebecca and Richard were dating, but then broke up, so Courtney cheated on Bradley with Richard and had plans to divorce Bradley and leave him for Richard. But 2 weeks before the divorce was due to go ahead, she put the brakes on it as she found out that she was pregnant and didn't know who the father was. Courtney said that after she broke up with him, Richard came to the house to shoot Bradley, but Courtney rejected Richard, saying that she wanted to stay with Bradley. But she alleged that Richard later raped her, which caused her to miscarry the baby. Bradley, in the affidavit, said that the idea that he did this for revenge on Richard was, quote, bullshit. What looks to be more likely is that Courtney could have wanted Rebecca's baby for herself. In the affidavit, Bradley states that Courtney wanted to adopt a baby, but that would be complicated. As he was a registered sex offender and they lived together, Courtney would not be permitted to adopt a baby. Besides that, she had already lost custody of most of her children in the past. At the time of the murder, she did have custody of a teenage son who was living with her, but letting a registered sex offender be around him is questionable. Courtney's sister, a woman named Candice, came forward to police on the 15th of November, saying that she had received a text message from Courtney on the 28th of October, informing her that she had given birth to a premature baby who was in intensive care. She said that the baby was born at 28 weeks and that Courtney was asking her sister for things to help with the baby. She said that she was naming the baby Ashton and that he was supposed to be coming home that week. But then on the 3rd of November, she texted her sister again, informing her that the baby had died. Courtney told her, "All I know is I watched my child die right in front of me." And what happened on the 3rd of November? Rebecca, Courtney's child, died right in front of her. No official motive has been put forward, but perhaps Courtney did want to take Rebecca's baby for herself. So she lured her out to the woods and stole the baby, killing Rebecca in the process. Bradley said that when Rebecca went to the hospital on the 2nd of November, thinking that she was in labour, someone said, "Don't you dare have this baby in the hospital," but he was unable to remember who had actually said it or why. In the affidavit, he said that Courtney was, quote, obsessed with wanting another baby. Courtney said that she wasn't referring to Rebecca's baby when she spoke to her sister, but to a friend's baby who was thinking about giving up her baby for adoption. According to Bradley, when Courtney realised that the baby couldn't be saved, she said, "The bitch killed my baby." And it's like, no, you and or your husband killed your daughter's baby and her, allegedly. Like I said at the beginning, this case really is so heinous, and it's hard to understand how anyone could do something like this. It's also mentioned by Courtney in the affidavit that Rebecca's baby may have been Bradley's. And when the police said that Rebecca and Bradley didn't get on or like each other, Courtney said, yes, they do. So that's where we are as of now with this case. Richard was released on bond and does not seem to be a person of interest in the murder of Rebecca. Kimberly also has been let out on bond. Both Courtney and Bradley are currently being held in jail with probable cause hearings set for the 13th of January. Kimberly's probable cause hearing is set for the 14th of January for her charges relating to obstructing the investigation. I'll definitely keep an eye on this case, and I really hope that the truth comes out and that Rebecca and her baby will be able to get some justice. If you made it this far into the video, thank you for watching and sticking with it. I hope that it wasn't too tricky to follow along with all of the twists and turns. And if you found the video interesting, please leave a like, a comment, and subscribe to the channel, and I'll be back soon with another video.